CSGO is the best FPS game ever made. Or is it? Let's talk about that. Hey, what's up guys, it's Turbo here, and today I have something a little bit different, and we're going to be comparing CSGO to a bunch of other popular FPS games to figure out why it's such a great game. Also, I just want to mix things up as well. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, just drop a like on it, and if we do hit 2,000 likes in the first week, I'm going to be giving away an AWP Neo Noir. Also guys, make sure to join our Discord community if you haven't already. The link's in the description down below. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So first of all, what makes CSGO such a great game? Where to begin? Counter-Strike Global Offensive was released in 2012, and for the first year, it wasn't that popular. Most pros at the time didn't like the game, and they were annoyed by the fact that it was less skill-based and more RNG-based, because essentially, the recoil patterns were way more random, and the game just didn't play the same. But Valve realized they made a mistake, and over time they released updates and fixed all the issues. Or at least most of the issues. So they tell us, wake up sheeple, there's a conspiracy going on right now. But before we dive deeper into that and check out all the other games, guys, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Hey guys, want to get some CSGO skins for free? Then go check out GoCases. Simply download the app from the Google Play Store, complete easy gaming tasks and earn coins, then use those coins to open whatever cases you want and withdraw those skins to Steam. You don't need to log in with your Steam account, you simply just paste your Steam trade link and you get the skin in a few minutes. Don't forget to use code TURBO to get some bonus coins, and check out the description for a link to the app, but huge thanks to GoCases for sponsoring today's video. Let's jump into it. In 2013, they released CSGO skins, which changed the game forever. This was around the time the game's player numbers started rising, and the game started really blowing up around this time. Skins led to a boom, which propelled the game to the moon. After a few years, the player base rose from 50,000 during peak hours to over 600,000. So a pretty massive increase. Most importantly, the skin market also started booming thanks to such amazing skins like the Karambit Fade, the AWP Asimov, and the legendary Dragon Lore. Just some sought-after skins. Fast forward to today, the skin market is at its highest and the game is more popular than ever. Most days, the game breaks over 1 million concurrent players during peak hours, that's a lot. So what makes the game compelling for so many people? So of course, the skins, the maps are incredible. The game is hard, but over time you can master it through practice. The movement is so much fun and the weapons are great. It's not an easy game, and that's what makes it so good for competitive. It just has a high skill ceiling. Plus it also has a thriving competitive scene with so many insane players. You got Simple, Ziwu. However though, to get the full experience, you need to use third-party clients like ESEA or Faceit for a few different reasons. Obviously, they have 128 tick servers, which are extremely responsive, and they're great for hitting those quick flicks consistently. Essentially, 128 tick servers are just the best servers that you can play on. The main issue with 64 tick is if you play on a high refresh rate monitor, you won't get the full experience, and it's a lot more difficult to hit shots consistently just because the server refresh is slower and basically less shots will hit their target. Like, there's people out there who say there's no difference, but those are also the same people who say there's no difference between 60 Hz and 144 Hz. So you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. Yeah, I mean, in a game like CS, there's a massive difference between 64 and 128 tick. And obviously it is hard to explain exactly what makes it better, but you just have to play both to understand for yourself. It's kind of like a thing that you feel. Overall, the game has a fun and rewarding ranking system, but there is a huge caveat. Of course, matchmaking has an insane amount of cheaters. And what I've noticed is trust factor doesn't necessarily help, because cheaters can just buy like prime accounts from the black market and then they can get around like the trust factor thing. And the cheaters' main goal is to ruin the game for everybody. That's why they exist. Like, that's their entire life goal.
Since my life is super miserable, let's make other people miserable too.
I don't get it, but I mean, there's a lot of sociopaths out there. So, but honestly, that's why you're better off playing Faceit Premium or ESEA. Even though it does cost money, they have a significantly better anti-cheat than Valve servers, so the odds of playing against cheaters are way lower. I mean, hey, at least CSGO is free to play. However, you know what other game is also free to play and doesn't suffer from the same issues as Counter-Strike? Valorant. So Valorant is a 5v5 team-based competitive shooter, but the main difference between it and CS is the game has multiple heroes, which all have their own unique abilities. And on top of all that, the normal in-game servers are extremely optimized 128 tick servers that always give you the best experience. Well, as long as you have a decent ping. And best of all, you don't have to pay for third-party clients, so the game is free and you never have to spend more. But the biggest issue with Valorant is mainly the maps. They just aren't designed to be on the same level as CS in terms of competitive gameplay. I mean, sure they work, but I would rather play like Mirage, Dust 2, Inferno, Overpass, or any of the Counter-Strike maps over any of the Valorant maps, because let's be real, the Valorant maps are just too simple and they're just not fun. Another big issue with Valorant is the recoil patterns. So in Counter-Strike, you can actually learn and master the patterns, and you can be pretty accurate when you're like spraying across the map. On Valorant, it's basically RNG based, so you're much better off like either tap firing or burst firing. So now let's talk about the elephant in the room. No, not that literal elephant. I'm talking about how Valorant has split the CS community. So lots of top tier CS pros like Nitro, Ethan, Tarek, Mixwell, Tens, and so many others have made the switch to Valorant. The game has been growing a lot actually. But in my opinion, a lot of people think that like this is the end of Counter-Strike or like this is a bad thing. But in my opinion, I think this is a good thing because competition always results in an overall better product, because both companies are in an arms race to make an overall better game or a better product overall. It's kind of similar to AMD versus Intel. Like Intel used to be like the biggest manufacturer of CPUs and everyone used Intel. And then AMD came out with Ryzen and released an overall better value product. And in some cases, they even made CPUs that outperformed Intel. So for Intel to compete with AMD, they had to lower their prices, which was overall a great thing for consumers. So both companies compete against each other, but the real winners are the consumers, us. When Valorant came out, Valve was forced to step their game up with releasing more updates and of course bringing back yearly operations to keep the game fresh and interesting. And of course they also released more skins. Valorant also does have skins, however, you can't sell them on the market or trade them with other players. So in my opinion, that makes them completely worthless. There's no return on investment, so I don't really see a reason to buy them unless you're just really into the game and you just want to support the developers. I mean, I don't know. For me personally, I would never spend $50 on a knife that you're basically stuck with forever. But I mean, overall though, Valorant is a solid game, but not everybody can get into it because the abilities are kind of weird and also like it plays a little bit slower than CS. It's kind of like Counter-Strike, but different. The next game we're going to be comparing CSGO to is Call of Duty 16, Black Ops 5, Cold War 1. So believe it or not, before I switched to PC and started playing CS, I mostly played COD and Halo. Honestly, like COD can be really fun just because it's an easy first-person shooter with simple game mechanics that are easy to pick up and difficult to master, and you can essentially just run around and shoot with full accuracy, like unlike Counter-Strike or Valorant where you basically have to stop to shoot accurately. The main thing that makes me enjoy the game is how fast-paced it is. There's always action happening like every second, but that comes at the expense of strategy or any build-up to intense action. Like, you know, like rushing B on Dust 2. Also for COD, if you play on PC, you're at a huge disadvantage, mainly because the servers are stuck at 20 tick, which is one of the lowest in the entire industry. So it's really difficult to hit those fast-paced shots, and it's difficult to play in a fast-paced way and be consistent, because the servers just aren't that good. On top of that too, console players basically have aimbots, so they have a massive advantage. Or as they call it aim assist, but it's an aimbot. But hey, if the multiplayer isn't for you, there's also a really good single player campaign plus zombies mode. Like over the years, I've put thousands of hours into COD Zombies and it's incredibly fun to play. And if you've never played it, you're missing out. And finally, guys, we're going to be moving on to Apex Legends. So CSGO does have a battle royale mode called Danger Zone, but in my opinion, it just isn't fun. It's essentially 16 players thrown onto a relatively small map, and you have to grind to get money, find drops, and upgrade your loadout so you have a chance to win. But the games just don't last very long, and there just isn't that many exciting moments. I mean, sure, it's a fun game to waste some time, but I don't see why anybody would want to grind it constantly. It's compared to a lot of other battle royale games, it seems really empty. Like, if you're going to be playing CS, you might as well just play competitive. That's where all the fun is at. So Apex Legends is a battle royale game on Steam that runs on the Titanfall engine. 60 players are thrown into a massive map with hills, mountains, grasslands, towns, buildings, and overall, the map is really cool and interesting. And the game also plays incredibly well. It's really well optimized, and skill will definitely take you far in the game. And there's a lot of really fun game mechanics that work really well in a battle royale. So I think if you're going to play any kind of battle royale game, like Apex Legends is the best BR game out there currently. Plus also it's cross-platform, so if you have friends who play on console, you can queue up with them and just overall have a great time. However, The game is very difficult to get into and master. Once you learn the maps, the weapons, and just how to play the game, like you can get really good and you can have a lot of fun. And best of all, it's free to play. Like as long as you have a solid GPU, then there's pretty much no reason not to give it a shot. I know firsthand, the battle royale genre isn't for everybody, but if you do enjoy those kind of games, then give it a shot. But for me personally though, I'd rather just play some Face It on CSGO and tap some heads. So anyways, with all that being said, in my opinion, CSGO is the best competitive FPS game on PC. And I know there's also Rainbow Six Siege, but I just think that's a less fun, more vertical version of CS. Like the one thing I hate about that game is the fact that you can just shoot a hole in the wall and then just cheese people. Siege is more annoying than fun. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I hope you guys ended up enjoying today's video. I just wanted to try something a little bit different and do something about a variety of different games. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. It's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.